Thank you so much. First of all, let me thank The Economist for organizing this event here in Skopje, but also for inviting me and having the opportunity to have this exchange with such distinguished panelists. The second, I was impressed, if that was your initial intention, naming our region Southeast Europe and not Western Balkans. I'm continuously arguing whether Western Balkans is the appropriate naming of our region, though I'm ambiguous about it. There is a positive and negative sides on it. The positive, having the Western word in it, sort of denominating the direction of a region which is at geopolitical crossroad. But on the other hand, negative side is it gives the impression that it is an isolated island, which is rather not. This region is part of the intrinsic part of European continent, lies at the heart of Europe. It's sort of the patio of European Union, surrounded by EU member states, politically, economically, institutionally, I would say, culturally, historically, part of Europe. So our fates are interconnected and we share the good and the bad, and of course we cope together with the challenges that do not recognize borders, whether the health challenges as the recent pandemic or hybrid threats, malign influences, illegal migration, organized crime, etc. The third is the fact that I stated previously, this region is at the crossroads, which also has its own positive and negative side. The positive side, the fact that this region was historically at the crossroad of civilization, which I think makes us more prepared and more mature to face the different groupings within EU. So I think we would fit well and balance the different views already in EU. And we also at the crossroads of transport corridors. And I think this is important for the overall trade relations. I will take just an example, the transport corridor that connects Black Sea and Adriatic Sea passes through Skopje, and the transport corridor that connects Thessaloniki port with Belgrade, Budapest, and then the rest of Europe also passes through Skopje. But the negative side of being at crossroad is that we are at a geopolitical crossroad. And I remember a saying of former US Secretary of State John Kerry, who said, "A fire passes through the region." And so overall, some say being at crossroads means being lost. Some say having more opportunities and alternative. I would say being at crossroads means that you have more accidents at crossroads. And therefore, for us, crucial, the NATO membership. And last year was historicals, having in mind the achievements of our first strategic goal, becoming NATO member, and now as NATO member trying to push for the open door policy, because we consider that spreading of NATO in the region is key for the overall stability and security, but also an important indicator for the reliability of the region to our Euro-Atlantic values. And fourth, whatever label you put to the contradictory narratives in the region. And as this hope and aspiration weakens, the driving force which will slow the reforms will take place. The conflicting narratives that are now subordinated by this supra-narrative of EU perspective will come into surface, and we are seeing already that nationalistic rhetoric, the retrograde thinking in the region, and this is mainly, I believe, due to this widespread feeling among our citizens that the enlargement process is receding, beside the unwavering commitment of EU for the enlargement, but also unprecedented financial and economic support that the EU is providing to the region, there is still widespread feeling that the region is locked in this Sisyphean destiny, and we are seeing the consequences of it. And therefore, I consider that it is crucial that we maintain the credibility of the process of the European perspective in the region, and the litmus test for this credibility is the case of North Macedonia being the best student in the class in making the compromises that have revived the European idea in the region, first by creating a functional multi-ethnic democracy that is a unique case in the region, presenting a reference model for the region and beyond, that a functional multi-ethnic democracies can work here, but also a process of reconciliation with neighbors, which also one of the main core European values, but as well meeting the economic, political criteria, transposing the acquis. And if this story of North Macedonia is not acknowledged, is not accepted and promoted, I think that we will de-incentivize the rest of the countries in the region to follow our path, and then we will enter into a vicious cycle with unforeseen consequences. Therefore, I will end here because my time is up. That NATO and EU, and I will quote a friend here who said, joining NATO and not EU is like taking the first dose of the vaccine, but not the second one. So we are not fully protected until we finish this process of EU integration. Thank you so much.